Occasionally I dream about being a garbage man. I really do. I had a weird dream last night. I dreamed that I was on my last show, on the LeBatard show, my farewell show.
This might be it.
Where it could be, where you allow me to say that I'm retiring when in fact you've privately fired me. And guess who's singing my outro song? Jimmy Buffett is in the studio singing Lovely Cruise, and that's how I go out.
What's going on tonight?
What an inglorious ending.
Have you heard that song? Bring a tear to your eye. Farewell to my career to Lovely Cruise. Fantastic.
Wait a minute. You dreamt about the show last night? Hold on a second.
I did. Well, a couple of nights ago, I think. Yeah. I was tripping on tryptophan.
Is this something you want done? Is this something you want done?
Yeah, I would like Jimmy Buffett, if you can swing it. I don't know how much juice LeBatard has left. If you can get Buffett in the studio to sing Lovely Cruise on my last day on the air, that's nirvana. That's better than being a garbage man.
Hold on.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Sail off into the sunset?
Yeah.
Hold on. You actually dreamt about...
I swear I did. Yes. It's been a lovely
Can you
cruise.
please give me...
Put us there, man.
Please give me...
I mean, what a romantic song. You hear it on cruises, obviously.
Wait a
When
minute.
you're coming back into port. Sunset. Ah, pina colada.
I want every detail of this dream.
I mean, it's a tearful goodbye. And then all of a sudden, I'm surprised. The surprise element's gone because I dreamed it. But in the dream, I am shocked to the point of weeping when all of a sudden, we've got a special guest to sing farewell for you, and Jimmy Buffett comes in.
And he walks through the door of the tiny room with a guitar.
Yeah, and it's not the entire Coral Reefer band, but he's not alone. He's got like a couple of guys with him.
It's Dan, Stu, and Greg Cote on ESPN Radio.
Guillermo dreamt about the show last night. Give us all the details.
There's not many details. I had a dream last night about the show that Joe Buck apparently had a podcast in my dream, and Stu Gatz was filling in for Joe Buck on his podcast, and Allison called me to tell me what a great job Stu Gatz did filling in for Joe Buck on his podcast. And I realized this is a dream because Allison would never praise Stu Gatz. Stu Gatz would never fill in for Joe Buck's podcast that may or may not even exist.
And if I did, it wouldn't be good.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
Right.
Factually, a lot of factual errors in your dream.
What a weird dream.
Yeah. So that's the height of your fantasies, Guillermo.
Well, maybe it was a nightmare. I don't know. It happened when I was asleep.
Was Cody's show dream? Thank you, Guillermo. Was Cody's?
That's how dreams work.
Yep.
was Cody's dream? Hey, I mean, was it a nightmare or was it a dream? Because he's been talking in the breaks and we've lost him. Have you guys not noticed we've lost Cody?
Yes.
Because he was talking about mortality during one of the breaks
Right.
and then he got sad. And I feel like Cody.
Well, I mean, he has a set list for his funeral picked out already. I mean, yes, we
planning
have,
it.
Yeah. We have lost you, though, Greg.
No, not at all. Lost and found, baby. Most people plan their own funerals nowadays, right?
Do they?
Mentally, yeah, sure. When you get to be my age,
Mentally.
yeah. I mean, you. It's not like I'm writing anything down. I'm not.
But
to
have you
that
given
point.
these specific instructions to anyone? Your wife?
I have not yet.
No.
No.
Well, what do you mean? Hold on. So you think if I put up on the poll, have you planned any of your own funeral yet? You think the answer to that is going to be a majority yes?
I think it would be a majority no because a lot of your listeners skew a younger demographic. I think if you polled people middle-aged and older,
CBS?
the answer would be
CBS
yes.
Sports Line?
Right. I've never even thought about it. Have you? Your funeral? I've never even thought about my own funeral.
Just recently, for the first time, because some of my friends were talking about the details on their funeral and how fun they were having fun with the details of, like, I'm going to have clowns, and they were like talking to lawyers demanding like that the clowns get a budget for like hijinks and yeah. And so I was like, that sounds fun. That sounds like a fun way to do that.
It's your funeral.
Well, that's why I did it. What?
So what would your funeral have?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't then take it to the next thought of but I did. I considered for the first time literally a week ago.
So it's going to be a fun funeral, yours.
It's really a question for Mike, isn't it?
Yeah, Mike's working on it. That's why he was meeting the city. That parade we couldn't do for the Marlins with dumpsters and fires. That's what it's going to be at my funeral. It's going to be a couple of hearses, a dumpster on fire.
Right.
Would you mind if I spoke at your funeral?
I think I would. Wow, that's a great question.
Because I'd be flattered if you spoke at mine.
That is a great question.
Flattered.
Can I speak at both of your funerals?
Hold on a second. Let me think about that.
I mean, if I'm not busy doing the Joe Buck podcast that day, I would like to speak at your funeral.
I'm trying to think of like who.
You're not going to hurt my feelings, man. It's okay. It's okay.
I love the question.
You can't really control it,
It's a
actually. If
great
I just want to get
question.
up, I can.
It's a great question, right?
I mean, go ahead. Try and stop me. Dare you.
Oh, I hit it too hard. I'm sorry.
I got you dying well before Dan.
And Greg.
Wait a minute. Wait. If I had any call over whether or not Stugatz would speak at my funeral, would I allow it? Right? If we're planning the details, the audience would say yes, right? Mike, because the audience would want to hear what it is that he wants to say. But what if I don't want to hear it? What if it's against my wishes? Really, Stugatz at the end by my coffin, still grabbing at the mic,
Correcting my grammar from the dead. From 6 feet under.
Yes, Mike, yes or no? Good idea for Stugatz to be speaking at my funeral.
If he's around, that's a great idea.
Are there other speakers? Or is it just-
Let's be honest. At that point, by the time you die, I'll already be hanging out with Art Briles. That is Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest, and most dependable 4G LTE network.